Hi, and welcome to On the Shelves at ACPL. It's February, we're talking about Black History Month, and this video is going to highlight some of the books that would be appropriate for your older elementary and middle school children. So let's get started. My first choice is America's Black Founders, Revolutionary Heroes and Early Leaders. It is by Nancy Sanders. And it talks about the African Americans who were here during the Revolution, before the Revolution, before the United States was even a country. There were African Americans making a difference and participating in the formation of this country. This is not something that necessarily people know about, so this book is a great book to pick up and to help your child educate him or herself on the contributions of African Americans from the Revolutionary period forward. My next choice is Turning 15 on the Road to Freedom, My Story of the 1965 Selma Voting Rights March. And it is by Lynda Blackmon Lowery, as told by Elsbeth Leacock and Susan Buckley. So Lynda Lowery was the youngest person who took part in the Selma Voting Rights March. She shares what happened when she was on the road, talks about turning 15 while she was on this march, and the effect that all of this had on her and then on the country. So it is a fascinating first-person story about the Civil Rights March in 1965. My next choice is Dark Sky Rising, Reconstruction and the Dawn of Jim Crow, and it is by Henry Louis Gates Jr. with Tanya Bolden. We often hear stories about Jim Crow, but this book really lays out the history, what happened, how the country turned from embracing African Americans in state and federal House of Representatives and Senates to I think it was 10 years later, passing laws that allowed states to start discriminating again. And quickly the power went away from the African Americans who had just started to find their footing and find their place in our political landscape. So if this is something that your child would be really interested in, this is a really well-written book. And my final choice is Lifting as We Climb, Black Women's Battle for the Ballot Box, and it is by Evette Dionne. This is another story that is not always told. There were many African American women who were fighting for suffrage, the right to vote as well, but they often were left out of suffragist meetings and events because of the color of their skin. This book highlights some of their stories and reminds us that both Black women and white women were fighting for the same thing and made a difference in bringing about the right for women to vote. Those are my choices for books for your late elementary, middle school age child to read about Black history. Of course, we have more. We also have a display up here at the front desk of May Memorial about Black history with both fiction and nonfiction books and books for kids as well as for adults. So if you come in, please come check it out. If you would like to put any of these books on hold, you can go to our catalog at alamancelibraries.org, or you can call any of our branches and we'll be happy to help you with that. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time on the shelves.